Hello guys, and we're back again with the Stunticons for my video of the combination for Menasor. Don't expect a posing segment from really, most likely, just because he can barely hold himself up. He ends up being quite tall, and he uses pretty much his mini ball joints for all of his joints and shit, so he's terrible. Also expect some parts forming here and there, and a lot of pieces that sit off to the side, unfortunately, but I kind of feel like it's worth it in the end because the big combined blade does look pretty sick. And if you wonder why Oil Slick here is on a blue base, it's because he basically can't stand up without studs. I have used this design a couple times on other characters because it's quite a good way of making a small, posable, deluxe-sized motorcycle dude, especially for chopper bikes, which is pretty much all I've ever used him for. But I might at some point do an RC retool using some pink pieces. But I don't know. For now, we just have him as Oil Slick, and I've also got Roadrunner made with it. It's just a sort of original character that I'll eventually show off when I get into a video on the Rusticon clan. Anyway, so combining these guys, not everyone needs to be in their robot mode, so I'll do a jump cut and get everyone into their best modes, and then show off taking them from the best mode to start with to the combined mode. So the leg bots want to go into their vehicle mode, the arm bots can stay in robot mode, and of course Motor Master wants to stay in robot mode. And we're back. And I did actually make the mistake in the last video of saying that the leg bots did not have back wheels. I don't know why I thought this, but basically the original Sideswipe build I did using this engineering did not have back wheels. Both of these guys do have their back wheels, because they're located on the arms. It was just Sideswipe that didn't, because his arms were done in a different way entirely, so he didn't actually have back wheels. But no, these guys do. Now everyone's in their best modes. We'll start with the leg bots, because they're the simplest. So each leg bot, we're going to bring in this foot design with this sort of enlarged wheel, and a little panel system for the back of them. And basically what we're going to do is clip this panel on, to the back using these studs on the inside of the chest, as well as the bonnet, creating a solid brick basically. And then the clips on the foot are going to align with that, making a foot. Do the same for the other guy. I'm just going to drag him off camera. As you can see, there is bars on the legs there. The white from breakdown here is really not liking the ring light. Oh, I forgot, with breakdown you also need to untransform his spoiler so it's folded downwards like that. Also, this doesn't want to stud into the bonnet, so as this wants to actually go one stud below the bonnet so it holds the foot in place. So I'm going to remove that from Wild Rider and just... So the leg bot should look like that. That is a complete leg, or lower leg. Put them to a side and do the arms next. Starting with drag strip here. Basically want to untransform the upper body, fold the arms up there, fold in where the head is, and then the arms is going to fold up to create this. And then I'm going to bring in the hand, and that is going to shift the feet together as well. I forgot about that. And then the hand is simply going to stud into the bottom of the feet there, like that, creating, rotate that around, and that creates the first arm. For the second arm, see a similar process of push his legs together, like that. Then we're just going to take his arms. I also forgot to swing this out into the proper orientation in the last video. Before I had it lean back so it wasn't a shoulder pauldron, but that is meant to be a shoulder pauldron. We're just going to bring the arms up like that. Actually, they need to... I just realized these actually need to fold up on the other side. And I haven't transformed Menasor in a while. He mostly just stays in his combined mode, just on the back. But we just want to... I'm going to bring him off camera to sort of figure this out. Basically, the wheels need to be orientated in the right way to get them to want to connect. So you kind of transform in the front of the bike like that. Then we are just going to take the handlebars, flip those up and around like that. And then this point here, we want to bring the wheels up like that, because this stud is going to attach to Menasor. And it is actually the same thing on drag strip here. The stud on the back of his head is going to attach him to Menasor's arm. We're then just going to do the same thing as before. We're going to take in the hand, and it is going to tab on to the arm like that, onto his feet, creating the other arm. And then, of course, rotate it round like that. So that's the limbs done. Now I get to the most involved part, which is Motor Master. He's going to take his little weapon away. And the annoying process is the parts forming that this guy's covered in. So we're first going to pop off Motor Master's head, stick it in that back slot and lock it in place. We're then going to take this chest piece, and that is going to clip over his current chest. I'm going to pop the front of the truck off, as well as the truck axles. I'm going to swap the truck axles around like this. This is a lot of parts forming, but it was the only way to really get this guy to work and have separate parts. And then I'm going to collapse the shoulders in to make the top of the chest, and then bring the arms down like that. Then these hands need to rotate around. Do it off camera just because it's a really fucking tight piece, but that basically needs to rotate to be the same orientation as that side. And that is where the arms are going to connect. So we should end up with something like that. And then going to collapse the legs up. And finally, well, not finally, first we're going to attach the missile racks. These aren't really a necessary thing, they're just kind of a weapon, but I like the look of them, and they were the boosters for the truck mode, so it gives them somewhere to go as weapons. They're a completely optional thing. And then finally, nearly finally, I'm going to take these truck panels, and these are going to attach onto the sides of the torso here, just to bulk it up. Like that, on either side. Now we get to the final step, which is this very big Transformers animated styled head. And that is just going to peg onto the head spot. Now we can start putting this monstrosity together. So the leg bots, what we're going to do first, the stud, they're going to stud on like that, making the bonnet meet there. Do the same on the other side. Now he should be able to... Okay, so we're back, and I've zoomed in a bunch so you can see him a bit better. And now it's going to take the arm bots and attach them by drag strip. The little gold plate there is going to attach to the hand on this side. Oh, I forgot. He actually wants to have this transform like that. And then now he's going to clip on like that, giving him his first arm. And then this port on the chest of Oil Slick here is going to tab on there. I'm also going to take the thrusters and just rotate them around to be like little arm guns. And that is just gonna stud on like that. And there we have the Stunticons combined as Menasor, who is really fucking rickety and falls over a lot. For a quick size comparison, I'll bring in Legacy Menasor. Just got a real... I probably should have got him off to the side already, but I'm just going to have to move some stuff around on the shelf to get to him. But here we have the chug-scaled Hasbro release, which you can see. He's actually quite close in size. He's just over the waist of Legacy Menasor. So my Menasor does kind of tower as a combiner. And I'll bring in my only other combiner from the display, which is Bruticus. And I'll grab him real quick. I mean, I should probably jump cut this, but I'm not going to, because I really just... I'm still getting used to recording. It's been a while, so... We'll grab his fellow combiner, Bruticus. And bring him into frame here. You can see they're basically the same size. Menasor wins by the tip of his horns just being taller than the cannons on Bruticus's back. Bruticus is going to be a fun one. His limbs do not have separate robot modes, and it's very parts formery, but that does also mean he can pose more, because he's all big ball joints and ratchets and stuff. Whereas this guy basically is just a statue. It kind of sucks because he has a lot of joints. He has basically no joints in his legs at all. They're like no knees or anything. His legs can basically just pivot in and out, and that's about it. Seeing as the thighs from Motormaster, it's just not strong enough to support that in any way. They're just too thin. Then in terms of weaponry, he has the missiles. You can give Oil Slick's chain weapon to him, as well as this old bat that he had for Motormaster. But I kind of prefer his angle of not having those due to his more animalistic design, with these sort of big ogre teeth on the pointed jaw and the big old curved off horns, and the clawed hands and feet. He's a very sort of unstable combiner. This is one of Shockwave's... Both of these are Shockwave's experiments, hence their differences to usual combiners. Whereas your standard combiner on Cybertron would be an actual group that do fuse together and work in harmony. These two were groups that were forced to work together through Shockwave's experimentation. Menasor being the first one, with him basically leaving the personalities of the individual bots intact, leading to this really unstable, basically hulking beast that would just sprint around ripping shit apart. So for his second one, Bruticus, he removed all of the original sort of personalities from each separate limbot, removed their robot modes entirely, and basically made them like a hive mind type thing that converges all around this little drone that is technically Bruticus himself. Anyway, that is all I have for Menasor here. Although we can do one more size comparison, we'll bring in a smaller character that I'm yet to show off, as opposed to the usual ones. So, for size comparison, we have... Oh shit, his arm just fell off, that's not good. Beast King Megatron. I guess it's Beast Wars Megatron, but I wanted to give him a slightly different name to allow him to really fit into the universe as a separate character, but he is still just referred to as Megatron. But bringing him in, he does not want to stand on this display at all. His feet are kind of shitty despite being massive, so I'll bring him away real quick. And for another unshowcased character comparison size-wise, we have Soundwave and Laserbeak, being a borderline leader size, just much bigger Voyager than my usual designs. This isn't going by usual Hasbro terminology, but the basic way of describing it, what I refer to as deluxe class in my videos is a core class size. It's a much smaller bot. And then when I refer to something as Voyager size, it's this sort of thing where it's like legend scale to deluxe sized. And then my leader class ranges from Voyager to slightly larger than standard Voyagers. So this is why I call him he's on scale with like a deluxe class figure from Hasbro. And then for one final size comparison, just because I got this figure recently and I like him a lot, Kingdom Core Class Soundwave. To show a bit more size comparisons off. Anyway, bringing these guys away, that is all I have on my combiner for Menasor. I hope you guys enjoyed one of my getting into the last of the very heavily stylized stuff, where his characters coming up are much more sort of bog standard. Not all of them. There are still some very different designs, but this is one of the last few where they get very, very weird compared to their usual design. Although he's still very recognizable as Menasor. I did also have the carbots on the legs showing off on the front, because it's the one thing I don't like about his G1 design. I think the carbots being on the back of the legs is fucking stupid, because you kind of just take what could be a really cool combine and you just kind of hide them on the back, so you don't really get to see all of the team half the time. I personally don't like it, so I'm going to keep him to how he is now, where they're on the front. I could modify them to be on the back, but honestly, you're just going to get some hideous struts, so I don't see the point. But anyway, that is all for Menasor. Though one more thing real quick, you can't really see it normally, but he is rocking a pretty big Decepticon logo on his chest there, as for my larger characters always do. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Menasor, and I'll see you in the next video where I take a look at, I don't know. I'm literally going to grab someone random off the display in a second and just record a video for them as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.